Hello there guys, welcome to another my live video. So I would say now that the pressure is mounting on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United after we have endured a bad start to the season, only winning one game out of our first 4 games so far, and only managing 7 goals in that. I think we've conceded 3 goals so far this season. Is it? We've conceded 3 goals so far this season. Or is it 4 goals? Sorry, we've conceded so far this season, and it's just basically replicating last season, because obviously last season we didn't score enough goals. We only managed 53 goals in the Premier League last season, and actually we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season and all that. I haven't really seen any improvements in Manchester United so far this season, to be honest with you. And obviously our expectations this season will be to probably finish in that top 4 and maybe win some silverware. And I did say at the start of the season that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations and that, but I do believe now the pressure is really mounting up on him. But I did say that our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons, because analysing our squad it isn't good enough at the moment to win the league or mount any kind of title challenge up. And I did say we have got big ambitions for the future, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring that fear factor back to Manchester United, because obviously that fear factor hasn't been there since the Alex Ferguson era, and obviously he wants to get Manchester United back to winning silverware and that. But we have been so inconsistent in the last 6 years or so. But like I did say, with the dimension of this football club, the history of this football club, we should be up there competing and of course winning silverware. And it is a huge disappointment, and to be quite fair, we had a fantastic start. We did really well throughout pre-season. That won 6 games out of 6. 12 goals scored and only 3 goals conceded. And I did say at that point, I did believe then, I thought we was going to have a better season this season. But so far, we've enjoyed a difficult start to this season and all that. And then we had a great result on the opening day against Chelsea. Winning by 4 goals to 0 in that game. And then since then, we've just dropped points. We dropped 2 points away to Wolves. We obviously dropped all 3 points against Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. Obviously that was the first time we lost to Crystal Palace in Premier League history in that. And obviously we've dropped another 2 points today against Southampton. So for me, we're just not being clinical enough in the attacking third in the pitch and that. I think you can still see the problems in the squad, and that you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously we are lacking in that midfield. Of course as well, was in search for the right winner, throughout the course of the summer and that. To be quite fair, I thought our best player today was actually Juan Mata. I thought Juan Mata played quite well today. Obviously Jesse Lingard of course was dropped today in the Southampton game, due to his inconsistency in that. But Juan Mata I thought did quite well. A lot of people saying it was a terrible performance. I only saw some of the highlights in the game and that. I don't think we did too bad in the first half and that. We actually created a lot of chances in the game and that, but we didn't really provide many on target, and that is our problem and that. And I did say we need someone who can come in that can create more chances, and we are creating chances just like we did last season. We was creating chances, but we just wasn't scoring enough goals and that. We need to see leadership in the team. I think we are lacking that leadership, and I think we need to get someone to come in that can is better at taking set pieces and all that. My overarching view on Marcus Rashford today, he didn't latch on to enough. He didn't latch on to the the crosses and all that, and I think Rashford actually looked isolated today and that. Overall I think Rashford's had a pretty decent start to the season. That obviously prior to his penalty miss against Crystal Palace and prior to his performance today, I think in the first opening 2 games I thought Marcus Rashford did quite well in that. But I thought he was quite disappointing today. He had quite a few chances. He didn't take them. Actually, we provided a lot of crosses today in the game. But I thought in the first half, wasn't too bad, to be quite honest with you. But Southampton, the poor side themselves, like I said, they haven't had a great start to the season. But analysing our away record, anywhere, it isn't that good. But Solskjaer actually rotated the squad today in that Southampton game, and that following the injuries we have got. Solskjaer of course went with the 4-2-3-1 formation, and I think we're going to be going with that formation on a regular basis, this season and that. But obviously, like I did say, he went with the 4-2-3-1 formation. Obviously, we saw De Gea in goal. He went with Wan-Bissaka at right back, of course. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. Obviously, went with Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof as a centre back partnership. Obviously, that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre backs this season. Obviously, went with Ash Young at left back. Actually, Ash Young, was captain of was captaining the team today. He was captaining the team. Only Ash Young was playing because obviously Luke Shaw's out with injury. Also we know that Diego Dalot is out. With Luke Shaw, I think he's out until October with a hamstring injury and that. And like I did say, he's a very imperative player, Luke Shaw. Even though before he got his injury, he hasn't had a great start to the season. But Luke Shaw is still a very imperative player. He's our first choice left back. Obviously in the midfield, Solskjaer went with McTominay and Pogba. He has been mainly going with Pogba alongside McTominay, in the midfield so far this season. That. And obviously the three attacking mids, we saw obviously Andres Pereira get given the start. Obviously we saw Juan Mata starting at number 10. I think Daniel James actually started on the right, and of course Rashford was playing up top, and that's obviously that's the team Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went with today. And that I think Daniel James was actually very influential. I thought he played very, very well, especially in the first half. It was good to see him get his name on the score sheet again. And I think Daniel James has had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. My overarching view on Daniel James is he's still a prospect and needs time to develop and all that. And I think his crossing that needs to improve. But so far this season, Daniel James has scored 3 goals for Manchester United in that. But I think he's becoming a fruition at Manchester United is Daniel James. Obviously can play on each flank. We've mainly started him on that right hand side, of course, when we have played him so far this season. But I thought he took his goal really, really well in the first 10 minutes of the game. It was good assist from Scott McTominay, and I think Daniel James cut it in there from his right foot, and it was a really, really good finish in the end and that. But overall, you can say in the majority of the game today, we was actually quite poor in that. But I thought the first half, we wasn't too bad in that. And then obviously things changed a bit in the second half. Southampton came into it. Came into it a little bit. They got level just before the hour mark. Through Jannik Vestergaard. It was a lovely crosser from Kevin Danso, to be quite honest with you. Lindelof, should have done better with that. So there's certain points. There's certain things in the game that you can pinpoint out, that cost us today. I think Rashford definitely cost us, all 3 points today, definitely. And I think, you can say Lindelof, should have really done better, because actually, Yannick Vestergaard, beat Lindelof in the area quite easily for Southampton's equaliser. Obviously, don't forget as well, we had advantage to go on and win the game, because obviously Southampton went down to 10 men in that second half. Don't forget, obviously Kevin Danso had been sent off. I think he got 2 yellow cards in that. But we actually had a lot of shots in the game. I said to you on my match reaction, we had around 21 shots. I think we created around 19 chances in that. But you can see the problems in the squad. And for me, we didn't do enough investment, throughout the course of the summer transfer window and that. And I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, including me, have given Ed Woodward a lot of criticism. We've also given the Glazers a lot of criticism and that. Being given. We've been criticising the board, we've been demanding the likes of Ed Woodward and of course the Glazers out in the football club and that. But for me, we didn't get, obviously we didn't get all the players that we wanted in, throughout the course of the summer and that. And like I did say, certain players anyway would have had reservations about joining the football club, obviously, with our failure, to qualify for the Champions League and that. But we didn't get all the players that we did currently want in and that. Obviously, the board did assure at the start of the season that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should remain Manchester United manager at least for this season, regardless of what happens. Like I did say, as long as we're not in mid-table, or as long as we're not fighting relegation. I did say, I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, will be safe for them at least this season. That, but I think if in the next couple of games or 3 games, if there's no improvements in that and we're still dropping points, I think the pressure, will mount up even more on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. I do love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot, because he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and Solskjaer said at the start of the summer, he was following Alex Ferguson's philosophy and all that. But I just don't know if he's got all this, if he's got all the attributes. I don't know if he's got that stature, to get Manchester United in that commanding position. And I think now a lot of Man United fans, will have doubts about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even though we do love him a lot. And I did say I'm hopeful that it can. I did say, that I'm hopeful that it can work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I did say, we're not really known for a sacking club, and I did say, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, because obviously 3 managers have already been sacked, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. For me, I think, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics are questionable as well. A lot of Man United fans have been criticising his tactics. To be quite honest, I thought he tactically got it spot on today, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. Because like I did say, he had to rotate anyway, with the amount of injuries, of course, we have got in that in the team. But for me, our team is definitely good enough for the top 4 finishing that, but it isn't good enough to currently win the league. But like I did say in the last couple of months of last season, I said at that point, if if you know, if it is to go all wrong this season, that I did say, you know, Solskjaer, you know, needs to be needs to basically, you know, leave the football club and that, because obviously, you know, towards the back end of last season as well, you know, it was very, very disappointing. You know, we obviously lost at home to Cardiff on the last game of last season. You know, we drew with Huddersfield away from home on the second to last game of last season. That, and you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, proved himself. He's got a bit of experience as a manager, you know. He hasn't really got the experience of managing, you know, to the highest level and that. You know, he did well in his 3 months, you know, when he was interim manager at Manchester United, you know, last season. That, you know, he exceeded expectation levels. You know, the results were good, the performances and that were good. But since he got the job permanently, you know, everything, you know, has just seemed to have all gone wrong and that. And you know, you can blame Solskjaer. You can also, you know, blame the team and that. But like I did say, overall, you know, we just haven't been the same team, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. But like I did say, you know, I'm very, very infuriated, you know, that we didn't address that midfield, you know, throughout the course of the summer, because that was one of the priority areas, of course, where Manchester United needed to strengthen up and that. But I think Solskjaer had spoken with Ed Woodward, you know, when the transfer market was open, you know, about the lack of business in the current transfer market. But analysing throughout early on in the summer, should I say, analysing early on in the summer, don't forget, you know, for the majority of this summer, you know, we had been in search for a director of football and that. You know, there were quite a few names mentioned at the time, you know, who could have taken that director's role at Manchester United. You know, like I said, I did say we needed to get one in, because I did say, like, you know, we needed a structural change in that at the football club. And I did say at the time it would have been beneficial to, you know, recommend someone in who knows about, you know, who knows the culture of the club. Someone, of course, has got that experience. But it turned out that we didn't recommend the sporting director in, and obviously, you know, we decided to let Ed Woodward, you know, obviously our transfer business, you know, throughout the course of the summer. You know, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot, and I credit him for, you know, for recommending, you know, 3 good players to the team. You know, we spent £148 million, you know, this summer, obviously, you know, on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire and that. And you know, I think mainly all 3 of them, you know, have had fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers and that. Like I said, with Daniel James, he's still a prospect and needs time to develop. You know, Wan-Bissaka, I think he's done really, really well so far this season as Bissaka. You know, his defensive abilities are good. You know, his distribution, that's really, really good. He can intercept the ball and that really, really well, can Wan-Bissaka. And with Harry Maguire, I think he's mainly had a good start to his Manchester United career in that, Harry Maguire. You know, I know the club overpaid for him a little bit. You know, we paid around £80 million for him, and that obviously Harry Maguire is our second most expensive signing in the Premier League. He's obviously our second most expensive signing. He's also the most now expensive defender in the world, is Harry Maguire. And we did overpay for him in that. Like I did say, though, in these markets at this day and age, you've got to overpay for players. But you know, we've got a history anywhere, you know, of spending big on players, overpaying for players. You know, obviously, you know, giving players, you know, substantial wages and that. But you know, we've got a history of that. And then the bad business is then we let them go for next to nothing. So that's a really, really bad business from the football club. But obviously, Harry Maguire is our best option than what we've got in our backline at this present time. So throughout the course of summer, you know, we did address some of the areas. You know, we got the experienced centre half, and you know, we got that right back in. But obviously, you know, we didn't get that midfielder in. You know, of course, that we did want and that. But I did say throughout the course of summer as well, it was going to be hard for us, you know, to address all the problematic areas in one, you know, summer transfer window. So I did initially say that Solskjaer needs a couple of windows, you know, to address the problems even more than that. But you know, if this bad run of form does continue to persist like it has done so far in these opening, you know, so far, then I think, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, will, you know, end up, you know, leaving the football club and all that. But like I did say, you know, before obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, you know, obviously after the sacking of Jose Mourinho, you know, there was quite a few names mentioned, you know, who would have taken over the football club as well. Obviously, you know, we was in for Pochettino, you know, for quite some time and that. And obviously, you know, Pochettino, I did say at that point, I still had at the time, this is before Solskjaer came in, I did say I had an element of concerns about recommending Pochettino, and even though Pochettino's more experienced than Solskjaer, obviously Solskjaer's won more than Pochettino, but obviously we do know that Pochettino, you know, he hasn't got that proven pedigree yet of winning any silverware and that. You know, I credit him in the aspects that he's done, you know, a really, really good job with Tottenham. I think this is now his 6th season as manager of Tottenham Hotspur and that, and I think his expectations this season, Pochettino's, will be to win some silverware and that with Tottenham. Before I went to Tottenham, I think he also had a good tenure with Southampton, but he actually, you know, only had a short tenure with Southampton. So don't forget, you know, we was in for Pochettino, you know, for quite a while and that. Obviously, don't forget at one point, you know, we was in for Zinedine Zidane as well. But like I did say, even if now, at this present time, if we had a manager in, to the highest level, with a proven pedigree and that, it doesn't guarantee, we will be better, because, I did say, a manager even with a proven pedigree, could still, find it very, very difficult with this Manchester United squad and all that. So you can blame a lot of things. You can blame the board, you can blame Ed Woodward, you can criticise the Glazers and that. You can also blame Solskjaer for his tactics and that, and his team selections. You can also blame, the players as well, not performing well enough out on that pitch and that. But I did say, these still inconsistent players at Manchester United and that. Obviously now we have seen quite a few players leave, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously we saw, I think there's quite a few that have left now. Obviously Antonio Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years at Manchester United, so that's one that's left. Obviously we saw, Ander Herrera, of course, leave the football club. He served 5 years there with Manchester United and that, and I think you could say it's a mistake. It was a mistake from the club, getting rid of him, especially, on a free transfer and that. But it was a shame anyway that we didn't recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. Obviously Marian Fellaini, of course, left the football club back in January after he served 6 years at Manchester United, so he's free. Romelu Lukaku, of course, a couple of weeks ago left the football club as well. Obviously I think it was good business in that aspect. It was very, very good business for Man United, getting rid of Lukaku, because Lukaku was one of the problematic players with the football club, and it was good to see us generate a substantial amount, for the flop basically, and it was good to see us, recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago. But again, we didn't recruit a replacement for Lukaku, but we didn't get that replacement for Lukaku because according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he wanted to prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood and that, because obviously Mason Greenwood has been assured more opportunities this season. For me, I think Mason Greenwood needs to start a game, and so far this season in our 4 games, Mason Greenwood has not started from the start, but he has made 4 substitute appearances. So I think after the international break, we need to orchestrate on starting Mason Greenwood from the start. As you all know, Sanchez, of course, has left the football club. He's gone out on loan to Inter Milan. Obviously, we know that Chris Smalling as well, of course, has left the football club. Obviously, we know Joe Pereira a couple of weeks ago went on loan to Hearts and that. So quite a few players now have left the football club, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. There is still problematic players, in my opinion, to the football club, that do need to go in that. But these only are like, is it a couple of days until, the European transfer window shuts, because obviously, it does shut on the 2nd of September. But like I did say, definitely further more investment is needed. But Solskjaer said at the start of the summer, he worked out his transfer strategy, and he did say, he wanted to recommend a number of young players to the football club, that can grow, develop, and emulate and that in superstars. So I'll credit him in that aspect, that he did bring 3 good players into the football club. But we didn't get enough in. We needed more than Daniel James, Harry Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka and that. But we definitely need to see further more investment in the January transfer window. But you can say basically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is still in the process of rebuilding, because obviously the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's anyway. Don't forget, there's only 3 players there that are his. Solskjaer's still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. He's still inheriting players here from Louis van Gaal. He's still inheriting Juan Mata from the David Moyes era, and of course there is still players here from the Alex Ferguson era, and I think there's still a couple of players here from the Alex Ferguson era. But I did say, regardless who our manager is, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to replicate what we did under Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson for 26, 27 years, and of course that's something we've got to accept in that. But I, did say anyway, I don't like the way the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years. I think there's also been cultural problems at Manchester United for the last 6 years or so. And like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club, over the years and that. So that just basically, indicates how always spending big on players and getting them Galactico players doesn't always guarantee you success, and that's been proven with Manchester United, of course, in the last 6 years or so. But for me, we've got to get back into the Champions League. We've got to get back into the Champions League without a shadow of a doubt, and that, because not having Champions League football always goes against you in transfer markets, and that has been proven, in the last 3 years or so now, because actually, we failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the 6 seasons, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. But like I said, if this bad run of form, does continue, does continue to persist, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure is going to last, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's going to last, to be quite honest with you. Just giving my honest opinions on it. Anyway, so we know with Chris Smalling, he's left Manchester United now anyway. It got confirmed about that yesterday that it's been made official that Chris Smalling has joined Roma on a long-season loan. Obviously, yesterday it confirmed that Chris Smalling had travelled to Italy to finalise his loan move to Roma. There is no, it's without a buyout option, or there's no obligation to buy for Roma, to make the deal permanent next summer and that. So could possibly return to Manchester United after his loan spell with Roma, Chris Smalling and that, but it has been confirmed. Roma have paid just under £3 million, to take him out on loan. Obviously, Chris Smalling, was a long-serving player at the football club. He did serve 9 years with Manchester United. He actually nearly served a decade with the football club and that. And we had seen glimpses of how good he was, in the 9 years he was at Manchester United and that. But I think it was good to get rid of him anyway, because obviously he was going to find game time very, very difficult this season anyway. If he had obviously stayed in the football club, because obviously Chris Smalling had fallen down the pecking order, following the arrival of Harry Maguire and all that. Obviously, you've got Alex Tuanzebe, that's upcoming and that. We have still got a lot of central defenders, even though, Chris Smalling's gone out on loan to Rome. I think we've still got around 6 centre-backs in our team. But Chris Smalling, when he was at Man United, he made over 300 appearances for the club in all competitions. Obviously, he won everything at Manchester United, domestically. He only got his contract renewed in December of last year, did Chris Smalling. Obviously, he was at Man United since the Alex Ferguson era. We actually got him from Fulham, back in 2010. And Chris Smalling's actually aging up now. I think he's around 29 years of age and that. But I did say even before his move to Roma got confirmed that he was no longer good enough, to represent Manchester United and that. He did well towards the back end of last season, so I will credit Chris Smalling in that aspect. And I've got the same thoughts about Phil Jones. I know he's probably going to be remaining at the football club for this season, but he's no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. Phil Jones has been at the football club now around 8 years. Obviously, we got him from Blackburn back in 2012. I think we paid just under, just over, 17 million pounds for him. Obviously, Jones got a new, he got his contract renewed. Was it back in December, just like Chris Smalling, or it was sometime this year if it wasn't in December and that. But we have seen glimpses of how good Phil Jones can be. But I think he's just too inconsistent now as a Manchester United player. Obviously, we've got Eric Bay. With Eric Bay, obviously, his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, the amount of injuries he has sustained. And I think it's really taken its toll on Eric Bay. And Eric Bay is, looking at it, he's a very, very imperative player. He's got great potential. He holds his line and that really, really well when he's fully fit and that. But I think if the right offer came in for Eric Bay, the club would probably, consider offloading Eric Bay due to, his injury prone and all that. But I think we'd look to at least recoup the £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. Eric Bay is now into his 4th season as a Man United player, but he's out until Christmas time with a knee injury. We've obviously got, Marcus Rojo as well. Obviously, he's been subjected to quite a bit of transfer speculation. That I think a number of clubs have been interested, but I think Solsjaker confirmed prior to the game against Southampton that Rojo will be definitely staying at the football club and that. I think the likes of Marcella, Monaco, and AC Milan have been interested in Marcus Rojo. Reflecting back on transfer deadline day, Everton had inquired about getting Marcus Rojo and that. Actually, Everton inquired about getting Smalling on loan a couple of days before transfer deadline day, but actually, Man United had turned that offer down. But like I said, Rojo is looking like he's going to be staying at the football club, even though he has served his 2 requirements in Man United. Rojo hasn't played in the Premier League so far this season. He actually was part of the pre-season squad, and he did play quite a few games throughout pre-season. I'll credit him in that aspect. He was quite impressive in that, and I think Rojo's versatility and that's really, really good, because you can play him centrally, you can play him on the left. But for me, I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected again with the amount of injuries he has sustained. Rojo's just got under 2 years left in his contract with Man United. I think he's 28, 29 years of age as well, so he's aging up now. Is Marcus Rojo, and we have got quite a few aging up players in the squad. But I think Rojo's been at Man United. Is it around 4? Or is this? I think he's been at Man U 4 years. Is this now his 5th season? If I'm right, with Manchester United. But Rojo is now definitely staying at the football club. Obviously, I said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice is going to be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. Obviously, Harry Maguire, like I said, is our best option than what we've got in our backline at the moment. With Victor Lindelof, I think he's our second best option, obviously. And I think, these question marks, around Victor Lindelof, can he keep the consistency up and that? Because I think in his last couple of games he has been a bit below par as Victor Lindelof. Like I said today, got beaten in the air by Jannik Vestergaard. He got obviously embarrassed. He obviously got embarrassed by Schlupp against Crystal Palace, did Victor Lindelof. So in his last couple of games he has been a bit below par, but I think prior to that I think Victor Lindelof's mainly been very consistent as a Manchester United player. He was poor in his first season with the club, obviously in his second season he was really good there, was Victor Lindelof and that, but I'd still say he is flourishing at Manchester United. Like I said with Alex Tuanzebe, I think I did say at the start of the season he's going to be a big part of the squad this season, is Alex Tuanzebe, and that I think we're orchestrating on keeping him for this present time, at least anywhere. He's only very young, as Alex Tuanzebe. Obviously he was impressive on his loan spell with Aston Villa last season. Was impressive on his loan spell with Aston Villa last season. That's how I think he's going to be remaining at the football club. Don't forget about Matteo Darmian as well. Like I've been updating you quite recently. He's it's looking like he's also going to be leaving Manchester United. Is Matteo Darmian again? Obviously he's served his 2 requirements at the football club. Is Darmian? Obviously Darmian hasn't played so far this season. Obviously wasn't even part of the pre-season squad and that. But it's looking like he's going to be leaving Manchester United. I think he's set to join Parma for just over £1 million. And again, that's bad business for Manchester United. I'm not surprised that Darmian's leaving the football club. I'm just basically surprised, for the amount we are letting him go for, basically. So you can quite say we've lost out on just over £11 million, because obviously we paid just over £12 million for Darmian from Torino, back in 2015, and I think Darmian's actually been at the football club, is it around 4 years, and I think this is now his 5th season as a Manchester United player. Is Darmian's. Actually, Darmian has made 92 appearances for Man United in all competitions. 60 of those appearances, I think, have come in the Premier League. Obviously, Darmian hasn't played, since our 2-0 defeat to Manchester City back in April of last season, and I think he's only played like 13 times, since December 2017. Darmian's only got I think he's got under a year left on his contract at Man United, so his contract term does expire next year. I think it did say yesterday, I think it was coming from Sky in Italy, saying that Darmian was set to undergo his medical in Italy sometime today, or I think it did say tomorrow, but it initially say sometime over the week, and it did say Darmian is set to sign a 3-year contract with Parma, or is it a 2-year contract with an option of the 3rd year. But I did say anyway Darmian would be open to making a return back to Italy, because obviously Darmian spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger and that. But yeah, like I said, he's enjoyed very difficult time at Manchester United. Hasn't really been given the chance. Let's be honest. And I think Darmian is around 29 years of age. So it's looking like now, according to reports, he's on his way out at the football club and that. But like I did say, looking at it, we've got quite a lot of major players now in the squad. We have got quite a few young upcoming players as well, don't forget. And I did say, they were really good throughout pre-season, the young players and that. And I did say they should become a fruition this season. And I did say Mason Greenwood will be a big part of the squad this season. I said Chon should get given his opportunities this season. I was surprised that Angel Gomez, didn't participate in the Southampton game today, because I did say he'll also be a big part of the squad this season. That there's also quite a few fringe players in the team. But look at it. We've got players on big contracts now at this football club. You've got Marcus Rashford, that's obviously on 200 grand a week. I think it actually potentially rises up to 300 grand a week, with the bonuses and all that. And Rashford was very poor today. He didn't latch onto enough of them crosses. His finishing was really poor today. Was Marcus Rashford's and that. And he's only 21 years of age. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't emulated that level yet as Marcus Rashford, and it's going to take him time, to get into that level where he does want to be at. But we have seen glimpses of how good he can be, Rashford, and when Rashford's on form, he can receive the ball. He is really good at getting them runs in behind and that. He is under contract with the football club, is Rashford, I think, until 2023, because I think he signed, was it, if I'm right, was it a 3-year deal with an option of a further year, if I'm right, or was it a 4-year? I think it was a 4-year contract, sorry, with an option of a further year. I think it was one of them anywhere, but he signed a new long-term contract with the football club. So Rashford is one of the highest paid players at Manchester United and that. Obviously, don't forget, we're still paying Sanchez, 300 grand a week, despite that he's on loan with Inter Milan. So we are still paying the vast majority of his wages, and that, Inter Milan are only paying around 4.5 million of his 21 million annual salary in that. So Sanchez is actually, still the second highest paid player at the football club. Obviously, when he was at the football club, he was the highest paid player. At Man United, he also was the highest paid player in the Premier League in that, but still remains the second highest paid player at the football club. Obviously, De Gea, he's on 375 grand a week. Obviously, he confirmed early on in the summer that David De Gea had signed a 6-year contract with Manchester United and that. And again, like I said, De Gea was regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. But I think in the last couple of months of last season, or should I say the last 3 months of last season, David De Gea, of course, was very, very poor and all that. And again, De Gea's been at the club 8 years. This is actually now his 9th season at Manchester United. Is De Gea's, but I'm very, very glad that De Gea is staying at the football club. But he's on 375 grand a week, so he's actually the highest paid now. Is David De Gea, following Sanchez, leaving the club. You've got Martial, of course, that's on 200 grand a week as well. He's on a substantial amount. He got a new 5-year deal back in January as well. And I think before Anthony Martial had sustained this thigh injury, I think he's done quite well as Anthony Martial this season. That he's provided a couple of assists. I think he's also scored a couple of goals and that. But actually, Rashford was playing in Martial's position today, and I did say Rashford was poor today, but Martial for me, obviously, it looks very, very effective in that central position. Obviously, it got confirmed at the start of the season that Martial had been given that number 9 shirt, and he does seem to be more effective in that central position, does Anthony Martial. Martial, of course, has scored 50 goals for Manchester United. He got his 50th goal against Wolves, and obviously, I think this is in all competitions by the way. This is, I think, and as well, Anthony Martial's, I think it's his 5th season now, is it, as a Manchester United player. And I think he's mainly been consistent for Man United as Martial. He did well in his debut season when he scored 17 goals under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, but I still said at that point he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. And I still think Rashford's the long-term solution for Man United, even though he wasn't good today. He was poor in the last couple of months of last season. That and I'm hopeful anyway that Martial's injury is not too severe. It is a thigh injury he's got, but I hope it's not too severe in that. So it did initially say that it would be further assessed, I think, earlier on this week and that. And it did say, we was waiting on the scan results. So hopefully Martial could be available after the international break. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, my thoughts on Jesse Lingard, it was good that, he didn't start today, but he still came on in the second half, but he didn't start the game today. And I thought Juan Mata, did, like I said earlier on the video, I thought he did quite well today, did Juan Mata. Even though he isn't, first choice mainly, it's mainly Jesse Lingard who's first choice more than Mata. But obviously, due to Jesse Lingard's inconsistency, he didn't start the game today and that. So it was actually, Juan Mata today that started in that number 10 position. That. And my thoughts on Jesse Lingard is, he was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, and he hasn't been great so far this season. That, but I still think he's definitely the long-term solution for Manchester United, and that definitely still a long-term solution for the football club. My opinions on Paul Pogba as well, again, he's obviously our most expensive signing. He's another player that's on a big contract. Pogba's on around 290 grand a week, so he's on just under 300 grand a week at Manchester United. Is Paul Pogba and that. I think Paul Pogba and I think quite a few of the other players, or was it all the squad anyway, that got their wages cut by 25%. With our failure, to qualify for the Champions League. Paul Pogba wasn't too good today, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, we have seen glimpses of how good Paul Pogba can be, and that when he's at his best, he is arguably one of the best midfields in the world. Is Paul Pogba. He's good at picking the ball up. He's good at feeding the attackers when he's on form. You mainly see the best of Paul Pogba, of course, when he's freed up, and when he's at his best, he's like two players. One is Paul Pogba. He has been mainly playing alongside McTominay so far this season as Pogba, but I think you mainly see the best of him, of course, when he's freed up and that. That's when you mainly see the best of Paul Pogba. That's when you mainly see the best of Paul Pogba. But I think I did say there's uncertainty regarding his future, but I think he's going to remain at the football club. Is Paul Pogba for this season at least. I think he's notified the club as Paul Pogba, you know, that he will not intend on, you know, renewing his contract, and he'll wait until next summer, you know, to make his move to Real Madrid. But like I did say for the majority of this summer, or the entirety of the summer, shall I say, that, you know, based on the substantial amount we've put on Paul Pogba, I did say, you know, this has been a stumbling block of him, you know, leaving Manchester United, because obviously, you know, some reports said we wanted around 150 million, some reports said we wanted around 180 million pounds, and obviously, you know, Real Madrid we're not willing to pay up to the 180 million pounds for Paul Pogba, and now, obviously, was not willing to pay that, because obviously Real Madrid have already spent a substantial amount this summer. You know, they've spent £300 million on 5 players of Real Madrid. They've generated some of the money back, because, you know, they have got rid of quite a few of their players. Obviously, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, received, well, he was subjected to online racial abuse, you know, following his penalty miss against their Wolves and all that. I still believe he's a very, very imperative player for Manchester United. I want him to stay now anywhere, especially, you know, with our fairly, you know, to land a midfielder, you know, throughout the course of the summer transfer window and that. But for the entirety of this summer, you know, he's been heavily linked to a move to Real Madrid. You know, his first choice preference has been Real Madrid, and his likely destination has been Real Madrid, as Paul Pogba's in that. And he confirmed early on this summer, Paul Pogba, you know, that he wanted to leave Manchester United. You know, he publicly admitted this. He did say he was seeking for a new challenge, and he wanted to leave Manchester United, of course, you know, to rejuvenate his career, you know, basically. Because I did say the couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba may have wanted to leave. Because obviously, you know, due to our inconsistency, maybe Paul Pogba wants to be challenging and winning silverware and that. Also, maybe wants to be in Champions League football, and he isn't experiencing any of this at Manchester United. But I think Solskjaer had spoken to Paul Pogba, you know, throughout the course of the summer. He's spoken to Paul Pogba, you know, throughout the course of the summer. He also spoken about Paul Pogba, and, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, praised Paul Pogba a lot. So Solskjaer knows how much an imperative player he is, and I did say some of this team at this day and age, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, watched grow and develop in that, because he obviously managed the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years, and of course, you know, one of them was Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, don't forget, still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year in that. But I did say if he had left throughout the course this summer, he would have definitely, you know, gone to Real Madrid. I know there was talks about him going back to Turin and that, because he did enjoy 4 good seasons, you know, in Turin with Juventus. Hasn't mainly, you know, replicated this at Manchester United and that, but Paul Pogba's still got a lot of development in him. You know, he's 26 years of age and all that, so still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, you know, quite recently, you know, Paul Pogba's brother, you know, Mayfield, you know, he came out and he basically said, well, he's fueled more transfer speculations, Matthews, and he basically said that, you know, that he said Paul Pogba, you know, could still end up making the move to Real Madrid, and he also basically basically knows how good, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, would represent Real Madrid and that. But I think, you know, Paul Pogba now will end up, you know, staying with the football club as well. There was talks early on in the summer of Paul Pogba getting the captaincy as well, in the bid, you know, to convince him to remain with the football club. But you got Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola. He came out at the start of pre-season, and he basically said that Paul Pogba is in the process of leaving Manchester United, because he's been working on getting his client to transfer to Real Madrid completed for the entirety of this summer, you know, basically in that. But yeah, Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing. He's one of the highest paid players at the club. He's not only that, he's also, you know, a World Cup winner. Is Paul Pogba. I think it's very, very imperative that we do keep him at least for this season. But in January, we have got to address that midfield area, because that's one of the priority areas where we do need to strengthen up in that. But I did say, you know, prior to this summer transfer window, you know, we haven't been good enough in the windows. We just haven't been consistent enough. You know, we didn't get anyone in January. We felt him back last summer. You know, we didn't get our number 1 targets. And, you know, analysing our recruitment policy, you know, it isn't very, very good. And Solskjaer, throughout the course of the summer, you know, was talking about our recruitment policy. But I think, you know, the players that we did get in this summer, I think we've actually, you know, been quite sensible with our recruitment and that. You know, £148 million on 3 players, you know, it is quite sensible, to be quite honest, because knowing us, we mainly, you know, spend, you know, around 70 or 80 million pounds on one player and that. But that was quite sensible, you know, to be quite honest with you, £148 million. You know, obviously we got Daniel James for a reasonable figure. We've got him for £18 million with add-ons included. Obviously with Wan-Bissaka, we got him for £50 million. I thought we got him for a reasonable figure. My overarching view on Harry Maguire is we did overpay for him, like I said earlier on in the video. But like I said, this, you know, in these markets in this day and age, you obviously, you know, you have got to overpay for players and that. But like I've said to you guys, you know, we didn't get our number 1 targets there last summer, and I've already given you the reasons why, you know, it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era and that, because obviously we know Jose Mourinho was regarded as one of the best managers in the world, because he's won everything, you know, everywhere he's been and all that. You know, he's won Champions League, won a couple of Premier League titles there with Chelsea and that. You know, he won the Europa League and League Cup with us in his first season there with Manchester United and that. But Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. You know, he had bad disputes there with the players and that. You know, the board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend into the football club last summer. Obviously, it was part of the bus football under Jose Mourinho and that. You know, and just didn't work out under him and that. Even though just under £400 million was spent under Mourinho, but what's going on at the moment, I think you're getting some Man United fans that are demanding Mourinho back into Manchester United and that. And you will get a few Man United fans now, you know, demanding Ole Gunnar Solsjaker out with the football club and that, because maybe some Man United fans believe he hasn't got, you know, the stature, you know, to get us in that commanding position. This is what, you know, some Man United fans will think and that. Obviously, you know, back under Louis van Gaal, it didn't work out under him because he didn't have like the right sort of philosophy, you know, for the football club. You know, did Louis van Gaal again? Quite a lot of money, you know, was spent under him and that. And obviously, under David Moyes, it didn't work out under him because, you know, he never dealt with top players, you know, never managed to the highest level and that. Even though before he came to United, he had like 9 and 10 good years with Everton, did David Moyes. But you know, he only ended up having a short tenure with Manchester United. He only lasted about 8 months at Manchester United. You know, did David Moyes. Like I said, just under £67 million was spent under him. So in the last 6 years, just under £1 billion has been spent at the football club. And I think it's around £968 million that's been spent. You know, money was obviously spent under Alex Ferguson as well. So if you want to take into account what was spent under Ferguson as well, you know, way over £1 billion, way over £1 billion has been spent at the football club. But basically, you know, something I need to change, because these are much improvements from last season. I did say there has been slight improvements. We look slightly better in the attacking third of the pitch because we have now got that pace up front, and that's obviously, you know, something we lacked last season. Was that pace. We'll slightly look better defensively, you know, but looking at, you know, we are still conceding goals and that, which is obviously, you know, very, very disappointing. I think we look pretty decent out on wide positions and that. So these slight improvements in that, but you know, if we carry on, you know, we could enjoy a worse season this season than what we saw last season. Of course, last season was bad enough. You know, we finished 6th last season. I think we finished around 32 points behind Manchester City last season. That's how embarrassing it was. But I've also been frustrated with a lack of silverware. You know, to be quite honest with you, know, in the last 6 years or so, you know, we haven't won the Premier League now for over 6 years, and that, you know, we didn't win out under David Moyes' era. You know, won the FA Cup back under Louis van Gaal era back in 2016, and that won the Europa League and League Cup under the Jose Mourinho era. But that's not good enough, you know, for the dimension and the history of this football club. You know, we're just basically not exceeding expectations. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in that matter, he's not exceeding expectations. This is why I think, you know, he's not going to last the football club and that, unless, you know, we can turn things around and start scoring more goals and start, you know, getting positive results and that. And, you know, we're just not seeing this at the moment. And I did also say at the start of this season that, you know, I don't only want us to improve this season, I also want us to improve our record against the top 6 sides. And, you know, our record against the top 6 sides, you know, was poor last season. I'm going to be very, very honest about that. But I give you my predictions on one of my videos. I think it was at the start of the season, or was it just after the start of the season, who I think is going to win the league, who I think is obviously, you know, going to finish in the top 4 and that. And I think it's definitely going to be between City and Liverpool, you know, this season for the league, you know, just like it was last season, that, you know. And I've praised Manchester City a lot, you know, I've given them a lot of respect in that, and I don't like to do that because I'm a Manchester United fan, as you all know. But I've got to be honest, you know, I've put City in front of a team that, you know, won 3 back-to-back Premier League titles back in 2007, 2008 and 2009. I've also put them in front of a team that, you know, won the treble back in 1999. Of course, that was one of my club's greatest achievements, one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments as a football player. But, you know, City are now going for their 3rd back-to-back Premier League title. They've already won 2 back-to-back titles of Man City in that. But I think they're going to win it this season. I think they beat Brighton today by 4 goals to 0 in that. I think Pep Guardiola is regarded as the best manager in the world, one of the best managers in the world. And that, you know, his philosophy is really, really good. You know, he's got that winning pedigree. You know, he's emulating the football that he did at Barcelona and Bayern Munich. And, of course, he's brought that to Manchester City in that. You know, City won a domestic treble last season. Well, an English domestic treble. So, obviously, you know, in that aspect, you know, Manchester City made history in that. But yeah, I think they're probably going to win the league this season. I think they're going to win it again. Liverpool are going to be in there with a shout, definitely. They've had a good start to the season. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp's a pretty good manager, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Liverpool, his expectations is to win the league, because obviously Liverpool have never won the Premier League. They haven't won it in 30 years in total. They've never won the Premier League since it got founded in 92 or 93, was it? But they haven't won it, all in all, for the 30 years. Liverpool didn't buy anyone throughout the course of this summer, but in the last couple of windows, they did really good investment, did Liverpool, and obviously they have got good players in their team and that. So it's going to be between them for the league this season. I said at the start of the season I predicted us to finish in the top 4, so I did say we may even get third in that. But now looking at it, it's going to be a change of scenery now. If we keep playing like we are, I think we're definitely not going to finish out the top 4. We could, if we carry on, we could even finish 7th or 8th this season. To be quite honest with you. With Tottenham, I think, like I said at the start of the season, they should be competing this season. The business they did throughout the course of the transfer market. Same thoughts with Arsenal. They did really good business, throughout the course of the summer and that. Chelsea are really struggling. I said they're gonna, enjoy a difficult time this season. Chelsea dropping points at home to Sheffield United today and that. And I did say, if Chelsea don't back Frank Lampard enough, I think they're going to enjoy a really difficult season. And my thoughts on Frank Lampard is he's just the same as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. With Frank Lampard, I don't think he's got the stature, to command Chelsea in that position. I don't think he can succeed to the highest level of management and that. Lampard may know the cult, he knows the traditions of Chelsea Football Club and that, because he was a great long-serving player for them for the 13 years and that. Obviously, their all-time leading record goal scorer with 211 goals and that. So he was a great player for Chelsea, but Lampard hasn't got that experience of management. He only started his managerial career last season with Derby and that. I think he got Derby to the playoff final, but I don't think it's going to work out for him at Chelsea and that. Chelsea won the Europa League last season, so they're in the Champions League this season and that. But they've had a really bad start to this season with Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, they've got a transfer ban, don't forget, as well. So they couldn't sign anyone this summer. They can't sign anyone in January and that. They also lost Eden Hazard throughout the course of the summer. They've also got a few injuries. So Chelsea have got a lot of their problems at the moment. Just like Man United have got problems. The same thing with that. But like I said, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in deep trouble now as Manchester United manager. So I think now it's the international break. After the international break, we do go to Leicester. Now that is a must-win game for Manchester United. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon.